The Skagen Falster 3 is one of the most beautiful smartwatches I've ever seen, and you probably shouldn't buy it. Now you might hear me say that and be like,
Who'd you talking about?
let me explain. Whatever benefits come with this watch, whatever Skagen has done to improve this watch and make it the best it is, Wear OS ruins it. Now this isn't a standard review. I'm not going to go into vivid detail about all the intricacies of this watch. I'm more going to talk about how I personally have used it over the last couple of weeks and how I found it. Now this is our first review video, so like and subscribe and let us know if you want to see more of this style video, or comment what you'd like to see in the future. Just to clarify, all the problems I have with this watch are with Wear OS. Skagen has done nothing wrong. They made a great watch. They tried their best. Unfortunately, Wear OS is a burden too heavy to carry. Let's start with what I like. It looks beautiful. It's a very elegant watch. It's a very nice watch. It looks like a real watch. It doesn't look like a smartwatch. When you look at a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, it's abundantly clear that it's a smartwatch. Now, something Skagen and Fossil have done is they have additional battery modes. You have the daily mode, which, as you can understand, you'd have to charge every single day, and that unlocks everything. Then there's the extended mode, and that lasts about 2 to 3 days. And then there's the custom mode, which I really like, because you can choose exactly what you want to turn on or off, so you're not wasting battery on the things that you never use. So for example, Wi-Fi, if you don't want to have that on, if you don't want to have NFC on, you never use it. And finally, we have time only mode. Now, according to Skagen, this can last up to 30 days, which is really good. So you'll hear later on in the video where there are some issues with this mode as well. Another thing I like is you can use Google Pay and it works really well. I've used it a couple of times and it works just as quickly as you would be able to use a contactless card. I also really like the rotating crown. So this is something I have with smartwatches where you have to always work within the screen, and it's a very tiny screen, it's hard to navigate. Having something like a rotating crown, or the rotating bezel like the Samsung Galaxy Watch has, it makes it a lot easier because you're not working within the screen to navigate, you're using something physical. It also has additional buttons, one on either side of the rotating crown, so you can set it to open whatever you want. The mic and speaker are also quite useful. So I never really use Google Assistant, and as you can see here, I tried to use it and it's very hit or miss. It works when it wants to. It randomly says it's not connected, even though it is connected to my phone. What I do like is the speaker. So I set alarms on my watch, so in the morning the speaker would play out the alarm, and that's kind of useful. Also, navigation isn't laggy at all because of the 1 GB of RAM. And when I say navigation, just the navigation. We'll get on to what is laggy and what does cause issues, but just navigating around the watch, going through the different menus, it's pretty smooth. You wouldn't really see an issue. Sometimes when it turns on, it's sluggish for a couple of minutes, but after that, it works perfectly. Another thing I really like, the charging animation.
Look at it, it's so cool. Yeah, look at that charger, little buddy.
And last but not least, it's waterproof up to 30 meters, so you can do things like Now for the problems I have with the watch. Processors aren't that great. So there was a processor before this called the Snapdragon 2100, which was on the previous generation of watches, and then they were about to release a new one called the 3100, and people were like, yes, finally, this is gonna fix all of our problems, it's gonna make it great. But when it came out, all that really changed from the previous one was you just have some additional battery saving modes and that's it. Now this is where the problems really come in, because the watch is fast and smooth, and then you try to do something simple like set a timer and it's like,
I'm good.
Bro, you're a smartwatch. Be smart. For example, when I go to the gym, the only thing I use is the timer, so it's weird when it says 58 seconds, 59 seconds, 1 minute, and then it just stops. It just gives up. So I'm like, what's going on, watch? And the watch is like,
What happened? Where was I? I was knocked out for 10 seconds.
One of the reasons I got this watch over a Samsung watch is you can't use Google Maps with it, for example, but Maps doesn't really work. As you can see here, it takes a real while for it to load up, and by then you could have just taken out your phone, opened up Maps, and gotten home already. I was really hoping the watch had something similar to Samsung, a sleep mode, where the watch would automatically go into a power saving mode once it hits 11 p.m. maybe, and then go back onto full functionality the next morning. But there isn't really an option for that. The most I can do is put it on extended mode manually. And you might think, hey, can you just not put it on that time-only mode that makes it last for 30 days? But for some reason, if you switch it to time-only mode on any percentage, you can be on 99%, you can't switch it back without putting it on charge first to get it to turn back on. So you put it on charge, and it has to go through the whole restart process for it to just turn back on. Now let me just ask...
Why?
So, after the last time I set it on the timer, and the watch went... I was like, alright, you're going back. I'm gonna get a Galaxy Watch. So to return it, I reached out to Skagen/Fossil support, and they were really helpful and accommodating, and they paid for the return. So, yeah, I'm returning this beautiful bimbo watch because it is a smartwatch, just not when you need it to be.